What up, though, YouTube? It's your boy, Mitty. Gang, man. What up, do YouTube? It's your boy, Mitty Gang. Coming at you with another video today, man. Shout out to everybody on the second channel. Shout out to everybody over here. We have been doing our thing. We've been rocking out, and I've been enjoying what's been going on over here. And would you look at the timing? Because boom, 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 boom. Nigga, bombs might be popping off. Y'all better listen up. Y'all better listen up. Shit, my flashlight ain't came up for no reason. Riot. Tell them, Riot. They better listen up. They better listen up. Look, Riot. Tell them they better listen up. No, anyways, chat. We got fucking Trump. Trump captures Maduro. That's the president of Venezuela. And takes over Venezuela. But here is what everyone missed. Here is what everyone missed. And that is what we are here to get on into the nitty gritty of Mitty Gang. So without further ado, I'm just going to get straight into the video for all of the new people over here. This is the second channel. But for all of your mid-financials, don't be paying the... Hey, it's not about what I'm saying. You don't got to listen to me. I'm not the opinionist. I'm not the person who should be telling you what's up. But should be paying attention to what I'm paying attention to. Because I'm paying attention to some real shit. Some real shit. So anyways, y'all.
At my direction, the United...
Also, this is very new to me. I'm looking reacting to this with y'all. Like, I knew it happened. Like, this type of shit can't just happen. Also, like, I didn't want to jump onto the train and get into the news, but apparently Iran declared war against us. That's one, too. So, I don't know about that one, but, like, I didn't get to get too much into it. Y'all could let me know in the comment section below if that's some real news that we really need to cover, and I really need to get into a video on that. But this,
States,
yeah, I heard about it earlier.
Armed Forces conducted an extraordinary military operation in the capital of Venezuela.
In the early morning hours of January 3rd...
Andy, you cut your hair! This man's really about to leave, y'all. Shout out to everybody who doesn't know, this is Andy Bustamante, former CIA agent, and yeah, he knows a little something.
2026, President Donald Trump successfully ran a CIA covert operation to capture Nicolas Maduro, the illegitimate dictator of Venezuela. The whole world is talking about this operation, and people are shocked. But I want to give you 3 important insights about this operation that most people don't understand about CIA and Donald Trump's vision for the future of Venezuela. The first thing to understand is that without a doubt, this operation...
Higuerote in Venezuela. Damn, this is what it looked like? Hold up. Oh shit, I'm sorry, y'all. That cup is a crazy angle.
Vision for the future of Venezuela. The first thing to understand is that without a doubt, this operation is going to be contested as potentially illegal. What we saw here was something...
Isn't that crazy how shit can be illegal for countries to do against other countries?
Called an extraordinary rendition, something we haven't seen since the global war.
You're like, no, that's not crazy, Lawrence. It's actually kind of makes things peaceful, right?
To go out and capture
I'm like, nobody gonna follow the
bring
rules.
them back to the United States
I'm my
for
own
trial.
country.
That's exactly what you saw happen with Nicolas Maduro. You saw the CIA use military forces to go into a sovereign country to capture not just any terrorist, but their actual sitting president. Even though Nicolas Maduro was not seen as the legal president of Venezuela by the United States or many other countries in the world, he was the de facto leader in that country because of the fact that he had been a sitting president for so long, and he was hand-selected for the role by the previous dictator Hugo Chavez. In the eyes of the...
See, so he was already put into place to the place that he was put in, and he been sitting in that motherfucker for way too long. So, hey, we ain't got to stand here. We ain't got to... As far as I'm concerned, we is over here meddling in other countries' business that ain't got nothing to do with us. But at the same time, I don't know nothing. People like to formulate their opinions so hard and make these radical opinions and be so strong-footed in one way of an opinion without knowing so much.
Venezuelan people,
so much
they
we didn't know,
had
y'all.
one leader. Even if they didn't like him, even if they disagreed with them, even if they didn't vote for him, the entire country was built off of an administration, a series of federal and government systems that were dependent on Maduro. So in Maduro's absence, we can expect to see chaos across Venezuela. We can expect to see institutions fail. We can expect to see conflict in the streets. Police are going to be without leadership. The continuation of government is going to be confused and disoriented. And that's assuming the United States does not carry out any more additional strikes inside the country. All of that chaos, all of that confusion, any potential deaths, any continued conflict is all going to be tied back to this idea of an extraordinary rendition by the United States against Nicolas Maduro, the sitting president of Venezuela. Without a doubt, the Chinese, the Russians, the Iranians, the Cubans are all going to condemn the action. It's uncertain how many parts of you...
So everybody gonna be like, yeah, nigga, you can't do that. Hey, everybody about to be like, you can't. Russia over here like, what the fuck? Russia over here like, what the fuck? We could just go get Zelensky? Chat. We could just go get Zelensky? Be fucking for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, be fucking for real, bro.
Europe and parts of Asia are also going to respond to this because
Everybody
it's
gonna
diplomatically
respond, okay?
sensitive. Nobody's going to want to applaud the United States for illegally going into a sovereign country and taking the sitting leader. Think about what that would mean for all the other sitting leaders around the world. But at the same time, many American allies will want to celebrate the fact that Nicolas Maduro has been taken out of his seat. Even here in the United States, you can expect that there will be legal scholars and sitting congresspeople who are going to have different points of view on whether this action was justified, legal, or not. The second point to understand here is that CIA did not carry out this operation alone. This operation is what's known as a joint counterterrorism operation, and that's important because prior to the
See, this is some shit that we did not know. I know y'all didn't know this. What do you mean that we didn't do it alone? We had an accomplice? We American, nigga. Why the fuck we need an accomplice? That shit's kind of alarming to me, is it not? Like, the fuck? We can't just go up in that bitch like we got Bin Laden? We can't just run down them niggas? The fuck? Not saying that's what we should do. I'm just saying, like, we got accomplice. There's two people doing this.
Trump administration labeling Nicolas Maduro and the Venezuelan government as a narco-terrorist and narco-terrorist state, they didn't have the ability to use counterterrorism laws in order to carry out operational actions inside Venezuela. So the Department of Justice and Department of State decision to formally assign Foreign Terrorist Organization, FTO status, to the Cartel de los Soles, which is the cartel associated with the government of Venezuela, is an important decision because it...
Wait, what? Ain't no way. Did I just hear that right? Did I just motherfucking hear that right? Did nigga Trump just sided with the cartel? He trying to put niggas' heads in soccer balls? Chop them up, deep fry them, and boiling grease, feed them to the pig? Nigga, what? You said... Hold up, let me understand it a little bit more civilly, alright? Let me go at this a little bit more civilly, alright? You saying there was a country or some people who already was... I'm about to rewind it back, too, just so I make sure we all heard the same shit. But there was a country and a nation and, like, people, an organization of people who noticed that Venezuela was doing some fuck shit, allegedly. Noticed that Venezuela was, you know, doing all these hate crimes and drugs and all that shit. Allegedly. So what do? We go ahead and we go, all right, y'all can't go in there because y'all just can't go in there. Well, what we say you can go in there. Ain't nobody gonna stop it. And we go in with you. But we want the president. What? Hold up. No, this don't make sense. No. You got it.
Foreign Terrorist Organization, FT.
Foreign Terrorist Organization. That's what I heard. That was the first thing I heard that was like ding, ding, like ring the ding 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 dong, ring the ding 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 dong. Like that's the first thing that came into my head. Like Foreign Terrorist Organization. Foreign terrorist organizations don't sound like the type of niggas who would abbreviate themselves. If I'm lying, I'm flying. Right? Like if you ISIS, what does ISIS stand for? ISIS is kind of sounded intimidating.
To formally assign foreign terrorist organizations, they didn't have the ability to use counterterrorism laws in order to, prior to the Trump administration labeling Nicolas Maduro and the Venezuelan government as a narco-terrorist and narco-terrorist state, they didn't have the ability to use counterterrorism laws in order to carry out operational actions inside Venezuela. So the Department of Justice and Department of...
Okay, so since they labeled him as a narco-terrorist, that means that he falls under the subsection of drugs, which means they don't have the jurisdiction to just go fucking hawk down and smite niggas for drugs. And if it's an actual terrorist organization, I'm not saying drugs isn't a terrorist organization. Why they blur the lines between the two, I don't know. But not to say that if it was a real terrorist organization, then they'd have to go up in there with blitzkrieg force.
State decision to formally assign Foreign Terrorist Organization, FTO status, to the Cartel de los Soles, which is the cartel associated with the government of Venezuela, is an important decision because it opened up all the laws and all the authorities of counterterrorism.
There's a cartel associated with the government of Venezuela. That's the type of shit, y'all. It's like, well, that's why we don't fuck with cartels, bro. That's why we don't focus. I'm watching Powers, Tommy, and seeing them. Y'all don't want to
two
hear about it, bro.
operations
Y'all don't want
inside
to hear about
Venezuela.
it.
One of the
it's a
reasons
headache.
that's important is because by labeling Maduro a terrorist and labeling the government a terrorist supporting organization, it meant that we could use joint resources across the United States in order to carry out counterterrorism operations. That's why you see formal statements from the U.S. government saying that this was a joint operation that included law enforcement, military, and intelligence assets. Without labeling Maduro and the government of Venezuela as a narco-terrorist organization, the Trump administration wouldn't have been able to carry out operations against the sovereign state of Venezuela itself. Another important thing to understand.
So basically, he denounced them niggas first. He said, "Hey, fuck what y'all got going on over here." Let that shit sit for a while and then bomb their ass.
When it comes to these joint operations,
Damn,
is something
nigga, for
called
real?
authorities or titles. The U.S. military and CIA
But why?
are governed
We
by
need to get
two
to the
different
why.
sets of
We got a lot to
titles.
go.
Title 10 for the U.S. military, Title 50 for the CIA. Title 10 grants the U.S. military the operational authority to carry out military operations of an overt nature against foreign threats. Title 50 grants the CIA the ability to carry out covert operations against foreign targets. That means that
Covert versus overt was the key word. That covert, nigga, we don't see what's going on. Overt.
the military has to operate under Title 10, overt military operations, and if the military is going to carry out anything that is covert, it has to operate under Title 50, which is controlled by the CIA. This is why CIA, in order to carry out their covert operations, pulls from the U.S. military elite services like Delta Force and Navy SEALs in order to carry out their most sensitive and most tactical military strikes. Very similar to the...
Ooh, that's kind of a bar. I didn't realize that. So he's saying you might work in special ops over here in the military, and you like one of them ones, one of the gun them downs in the military, but like you not Andy with the CIA, bro. You not just incognito in that bitch, like, you know what I'm saying? Running fucking detection routes and shit like that. You're not doing that. But for a mission, you might, so they'll pull you over here and let you operate under a CIA type clearance. That's kind of
Bin Laden compound raid in May of 2011, the raid on Maduro's compound in January of 2026 also included months of preparation and planning in advance of the actual strike. This suggests that military Tier 1 operators were seconded by CIA under the correct title authorities in order to plan, prepare, and execute this operation. So when you start to hear people saying that this was a CIA operation or a military operation or a special operations operation, the truth is that it's all of those things together. Without a doubt, the DEA was involved. Without a doubt, the FBI was involved. Without a doubt, the state of New York was involved, because all of these organizations had to come together and work together because the U.S. government has to create a case for why they were able to render from a foreign country a valid target who was indicted under a legitimate American law. All of these things may sound detailed and bureaucratic, but they're very important to understand because inside the United States, we continue to exercise freedom and democracy, which means we have to follow the rule of law. And there are laws that dictate exactly how we can carry out all sorts of covert operations with the correct authorities and the correct judicial oversight in order to bring a criminal.
So, Andy, are you saying that Trump did this? Are you saying that Trump handled himself in accordance with the law? Not bent no law, not twisted the nigga's arm no law, like he really did this shit.
Like Nicolas Maduro to justice. The third and final point I want to talk about is what comes next for Venezuela. And that is the question that's on the tip of everybody's tongue, even though only half the people you talk to are actually asking that question. If you haven't discovered your natural-born spice only,
that's facts.
Want to help you on this percent of the QR bill. Maduro was
yeah,
not
cool.
the only
Hey, that thing you talking about right here is kind of cool.
Of Venezuela. Maduro had been connected to the Cartel de los Soles for more than a decade. Maduro goes all the way back to the Chavez administration when Maduro was in charge of making sure that Chavez was getting his paycheck from the cocaine that was being produced in Colombia and transiting through Venezuela. So
bro, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Like, this is how I know that cocaine, like, this could turn into a whole conspiracy, so I'm gonna run it down quick. This is how I know that the cocaine snowfall epidemic theory of the 80s, wherever they was just saying that we was paying and funding the war with drugs, and they was flooding the streets in California with drugs, and just capitalizing off the drug money to buy more guns and sending them and doing all that shit. Yeah, that's how I know that shit real, because you mean to tell me Venezuela over here like, yeah, nigga, go ahead, run your business cartel and run me that money, nigga. What the fuck are you talking about? That's a lot of money.
And as he started to climb
Cocaine, a lot of money.
Hierarchy, he would backfill the positions beneath him with trusted loyalists who were also part of the Cartel de los Soles. That means that the current sitting vice president, Delcy Rodriguez, is also part of the Cartel de los Soles. And the defense minister of Venezuela, Pedrino Lopez, is also part of the Cartel de los Soles. In fact, both people have been named in formal indictments by the Department of Justice against Maduro. And the list goes on from there to senior lieutenants that are in all the different branches of the military, including the Air Force and the Navy, because those are the organizations that are relied upon in order to take the smuggled cocaine out of Venezuela and across the ocean into the United States. So the entire chain of command of Venezuela is in question. The top two people who would most likely be the continuation of government are also part of the cartel, which means they are also part of the target list for the United States. They know that, and they must recognize now that the capability of the United States to come in and carry out a covert lethal strike against any one of them is imminent. Many of the top...
Okay, so we just made it through about 8 minutes of the video, and Andy actually really hasn't said nothing about this oil shit. Like, I'm all today, like, listening to people talk about it, and they all just talking about this oil shit. It's all about just trying to control the oil in Venezuela, and they got a lot of oil. Okay, don't get me wrong. If I don't misunderstand this correctly, because I can really just chat this up real quick while I explain to y'all, I thought we already had the most oil. Like, don't get me wrong, I know that, like, Saudi Arabia, all of them, they found all that oil and drilled all that oil, but who has the largest stockpiles of oil of any country, chat? You know what I'm saying? Like, responsible in the country with the largest proven oil reserves in the world. It is Venezuela. Well, I thought it was me. Hey, see, look, y'all, Midi gang, we gotta know. Because Andy gonna have to get into this thing. Because, like, everybody's saying it's about the oil, it's about the oil, it's about the oil. You know what I'm saying? It's about the oil. Fucking Venezuela, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Canada, each billion. So we just export. We just buy a shit ton of oil. That's all it is. We not even top 5, I bet. Anyways.
Top leaders of the country could
but he's saying that this is really about drugs. It's from what I'm hearing. It's really about drugs.
Enemies, including Iran, China.
Like, did Trump discover, like, his kids all on coke or something, and it's a problem? Or, like, did he almost OD on, like, why is he really cracking down on drugs if it's really drugs? Like, niggas, drugs been around forever. We always knew what it was.
Russia or Cuba. In that vacuum of leadership, the question is, who will step up? Who will step up considering the fact that the entire system of government in Venezuela has been built on the back of Chavez and Maduro, has been built on the back of supporting the Cartel de los Soles. The Donald Trump administration knows that without a doubt, this government is a house of cards waiting to collapse. And the Trump administration also recognizes that the best way to get the people of Venezuela to accept any kind of interim government is going to be to allow the current government to fail. So the Trump administration is very likely going to sit and watch as the economy and political foundation of Venezuela collapses. Very similar to what happened when the United States went in and took Manuel Noriega from Panama in 1989. Following that economic and political collapse of Venezuela, you'll very quickly see the United States step in to support an opposition government that's a transition government in Venezuela built...
Bro, and that's always the fucked up way they do it. They sit here and go, all right, we just gonna take the nigga who's causing the ruckus out of here. Now, y'all gonna cause ruckus because the nigga who was making all the ruckus is gone. So, they gotta make it... Hold up, y'all. Be right back. Be right back to the game. But we gonna have to edit this right. Boom. Alright, mini gang, and we back. Alright. I don't even know what I was saying, so we just gonna get straight into it, right? I need to go pee-pees.
Completely separate from the cartel. Once that opposition government is in place, you'll see the U.S. release aid packages to Venezuela. You'll see the U.S. release sanctions against Venezuelan oil. You'll actually see the U.S. start to offer investment into the infrastructure of Venezuela for two important reasons. First, Venezuela sits on the largest reserve of oil in the world. Let me say that again. Venezuela controls the single
Bro, if I would have just waited, he would have told me.
largest deposit of crude oil in the world. It's approximately 15% larger than the reserve held by Saudi Arabia, and it's just off the coast of Florida. So that means the largest reserve of crude oil in the world is just across the Gulf from the United States, and the predominant type of crude oil is known as heavy crude, which is the exact type of crude oil that Texas oil refineries were built to refine. So the Venezuelan economy stands to gain from cooperating with the United States, and the United States economy stands to gain from cooperating with Venezuela. Donald Trump recognizes, more so than any previous president, the economic benefit that stands for the United States by seeing a political change in Venezuela, because that Venezuelan oil could almost overnight start being refined by Texas refineries, which would massively decrease the price of oil and the price of energy across the United States, while simultaneously making us less dependent on Middle East oil. That means we can leave all the corrupt.
That would be kind of crazy. Okay, see, that's where he's getting into the oil part. That'd be kind of crazy. Like, if you're talking about for the U.S. economy, like, if gas wasn't $4 a gallon in California, I don't know what to tell you, bro. That would be fucking, like, all right, $3.50, like, that'd be a new day and age. What the fuck? Man, that'd be a problem, because then everybody and their mama would move their ass to California.
All the violence, all the scandal of the Middle East behind, and we can focus on sourcing our primary oil from Venezuela. The parallels between the 1989 capture of Manuel Noriega from Panama and the 2026 capture of Nicolas Maduro from Venezuela are powerful, which means that we can also predict that the transformation of Venezuela will be very similar to the transformation of Panama in the early 1990s. In the ensuing months and years immediately following the fall of Noriega, Panama suffered economically and politically. Their systems failed, their currency failed, many parts of their government failed. As I've already said, I expect the same thing to happen in Venezuela, especially in the first few months and even the first year after the loss of Maduro. However, in the first 3 years following the end of Manuel Noriega, Panama was completely transformed. An opposition government was put in place that was pro-American, sanctions were lifted, and U.S. aid packages started to flow in, creating a very strong and healthy Panamanian economy. That means that in the next 1 to 3 years, we can expect something very similar to happen in Venezuela. An opposition government will be put in place that is pro-American. That opposition government will come with the release of sanctions from the United States, as well as foreign investment and aid packages from the United States in order to rebuild the infrastructure, the political foundation, and the economy of Venezuela, particularly since a strong Venezuelan economy is going to benefit the United States economy, and Donald Trump is trying to transform the U.S. economy in his second term. Over the next few days and weeks, you and I will continue to see these three questions played out over and over again in media. Was the rendition of...
That's facts, bro. Because I ain't gonna lie, the way he broke it down, the way Andy just broke it down for us, chat about what we really went in there and did in Venezuela, like, it sounded like we hit a double whammy. Is it fucked up to say? As far as, like, especially that nigga. You know what I'm saying? He up in there, like, he doing the little Elon dance, the little skinny, the little, you know what I'm saying? He doing one of them dumb numbers, bro, because for him, in his eyes, especially, like, he got done in his first year. He said within the first 3 years of this shit, it usually makes it turn around and look good. He's gonna ride his whole shit off of it if he can make Venezuela look nice. You know what I'm saying? But what it does do, like, that kind of aggression and everything, like I said, that kind of aggression, we'll see what everybody else do. Let's see what everybody, like, Ukraine and everything. If Zelensky gets captured, it'll be that nigga Trump's fault, bro. Trump would have won that battle against Zelensky. And in Vietnam, Taiwan, really. Ooh.
Nicolas Maduro, legal or illegal? Who takes credit for that clandestine operation? And what will the United States do to support or suppress the economy and political foundation of Venezuela? I will continue paying attention to this because my family is Venezuelan. My wife was born in Venezuela. My father-in-law is a Venezuelan citizen. Many of our closest family members are all American citizens who were once Venezuelan immigrants. I am confident that the United States has better days ahead because of the capture of Nicolas Maduro. I am confident that the Venezuelan people have better days ahead because of the rendition.
And see, that's interesting. That's also a good reason why I clicked this video. Because fuck the politics of this shit, bro. Like, the nigga's the president, he is the president, and fuck it, bro. Fuck it. Fuck it. Shit's going on. It is what it is. So, trying to make this like a depiction of the nigga's personality is just a waste of time. It's not looking at it right. You know what I'm saying? Like, realistically, if we could get these niggas to pump the oil over in Texas, then boom, bada boom, bam, bam. The fuck? And realistically, if there's not a cartel leader right across the goddamn border of Florida, maybe we won't have so much drugs coming in. Bada boom, bada bing. Hey, bro, I don't know what to tell you.
And whether or not,
and Venezuela, they might be happy too because y'all don't know Venezuela was thriving. When Venezuela first found their oil, ooh wee, they was a rich country. He'll tell you. Andy speaks this story all the time. And then Chavez came through.
CIA or the Department of War takes credit for the rendition,
up, bro.
whether or
Fucked
not the United States helps
bro.
Venezuela or allows Venezuela
Took control of the
assets,
assets.
it's all irrelevant because
fucked it on up, bro. But anyways, Midi Gang, that was a great video. I might have even more stuff to talk about here, man, because when shit like this goes down, it gets juicy, y'all. It gets juicy. But I appreciate y'all for sticking around for the Midi Gang, man. It's been a real pleasure being with y'all. Blessings and prayers go out to everybody in Venezuela. Because, hey, don't know if you buy a bomb, smell a bomb, seen a bomb. That shit's scary. I couldn't imagine fucking walking. I couldn't imagine seeing no goddamn bomb. Or explosion from no goddamn bomb. Or waking up and somebody tell me even if it is Trump. If somebody woke up and told me they got his ass, I would have been like, already? And then I would have been like, really? And then I would have been like, damn. Like, so, it's a real crazy doozy of a world, man. But anyways, Midi Gang, I'm going to let y'all rock out with this one. And I'll catch y'all in the next one.